Nice music.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
That.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Welcome to hashtag Mental Health Magic.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I've been thinking about for a while and started to write down stuff in my notebook on August 16th of 2024. And so finally, I have got it to a point to where we are going to chat about it. And I want to say hello to the amazing guests. We have Jaime, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. We have Zane, Tarot Token Witchery. We have Medium Betsy Palmer. And you know what's interesting? I don't know where my stash tag is, or my little tag. And we have Tarot Stash.
There we go.
So I'm just like, seriously, this is like one of those things that I'm like going, anyhow. Neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. Everything's fine. And whilst we talk about this topic, we'll give you a little bit of history and all that good stuff. But please remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance, really. And there are linked into the description a lot of organizations around the world that will offer support for people who need professional support. So they're there. They were accurate at this time of filming. So there's that. Also below are links to all of our channels and links to the Working Toward Well-Being playlist, which is something that was really one of the first things that I did. We did as a group. I know Jaime was there and Zane was there. Betsy, you weren't there yet. But I think mental health and well-being work well together. So, and I do want to say hello to all of the people in the chat. Thank you for being here. And so this mental health magic is an opportunity for you if you would like to participate. You can leave a comment after the video. You can do your own video response or a VR. Just use the hashtag and link this first video to it so people know where it is. I will be creating a mental health magic playlist. So if I find out that people have done a video response, we will do that. I will add that. It's great to see everybody here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And Jen.
Hi, hun.
Hey.
And Jen was one of the people who did participate in the Working Towards Well-Being. So it's great to see everybody here. In the interest of time, I'm not going to pop everybody up. However, thank you for being here. Your support really is quite wonderful. Thank you. And okay. And I will do my best to follow along and capture questions and comments as they're there. So thank you, everybody, for being here. So I'm gonna take a sip. Somebody else say something.
Something.
Something. Howdy ho.
There you go. Everybody sip.
There we are. Sip.
Yes.
I love how you're like, say something, and we're all just like, we'll join you.
Yeah.
We'll join you. We'll take a sip instead.
Yeah. And Jen said, I love taking part in that, Gerald. And Anne just listening whilst doing dishes.
Hey, Anne.
And so,
Hey.
mental health magic. So why is this an important topic? I'll start.
Or I'll start. I don't care.
Okay, Jamie, go ahead and start.
So I'm going to read my response because I've thought about this a lot. A lot. So everyone deals with their mental health and well-being. Everybody does, right? Everyone has a good day. Everyone has a bad day. It's important to me because we get caught up for whatever reason. The human nature is we get caught up in the low side and we forget that the wheel turns.
Yes.
And so I have to remind myself on a continual basis that the wheel turns. And I think it's important to remove stigmas when it comes to talking about how we deal with things. I mean, I know that magic will follow into the conversation as we go, but I think it's important to remove the stigma and remember that just because something works for me and how I cope with it, that it's different. And no way am I saying that what I do is best. Even if I say, no, this is blah, 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 blah. No, that's from my perspective and what works for me. And what works for me is not necessarily going to work for everybody else.
Right. Yeah. I think it's an important topic because how often are we talking about our mental health or our well-being? We're not. We're talking about sports teams, nothing against sports teams. We're talking about what's on sale. We're talking about what the kids are doing in school, stuff like that. So
what decks we bought.
Yes, what decks we bought. Full disclosure, yes. But I think the idea of I'd like to have this be, this is important because I want to normalize the conversation of people being aware of their mental health and being brave enough to share where they are and how they're doing. So, who else would like to share?
I will go since we're going round robin here. So why is this topic important? Because some of us are called to question why life is the way it is. And I think self-awareness is a huge, helpful part of my life, is understanding what makes me tick. And I am discovering the way to live a life that provides for the things that I hold important and how to choose appropriately. And I think self-awareness is a big part of that. And I think magic is also an equally big part of that for me.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Zane, what about you?
All right, so I've got my notes in front of me if you see me looking down. But I think that this is an important topic because poor mental health can lead you into some pretty dark places sometimes, and it's easy to feel hopeless or alone when you get to those dark places. And for me, magic is a way to remind myself that I'm connected to something greater than me, something that in my belief system, all of the people that I care about are also connected to. So I'm always connected to the people I love and who love me, whether I'm physically alone or not. And that's something that really helps me when I'm in a dark place and I'm feeling like I'm by myself. It helps remind me that I'm never by myself. And I also think it's great to have something like this where it triggers a conversation and causes you to maybe think a little preemptively and something we've talked about before, having the tools in your toolbox. So it's nice to have something already accessible to you that you've already sat down and taken the time to think out that you can put into effect if you're in one of those dark places to help pull you out of it or get you to a place where you can be okay enough to reach out for help if you need it from external sources.
I like that. That's so incredible. So and I do want to there's some comments that we have people are putting in. It's okay. Beth shared mental health remains misunderstood still today. Victims of mental illness are seen as villains, and the criminal system isn't set up to deal with underlying problems of hopelessness. And Ange said, mental health is a topic I'm passionate about, always has been, and I'm always encouraging others to speak about it if they are comfortable. Mm-hmm. And Beth also said, if as a society we could create a system that addresses mental health earlier, we could circumvent so much grief, individual and as a collective. So, and Hypnicity said, timely topic. This will be my 4th year dealing with seasonal affective disorder without pharmaceuticals, using holistic remedies and a light box. A lot of power there in that. That's a great. Marita said, I think sometimes people can use magic as an excuse for poor mental health. We'll be talking a little bit about that, because magic is an integral part of my personal work, and so we'll also talk about that. So, Joanne said, I've learned more about myself since my brain injury, and I think it's a really important thing is we be willing to look at ourselves with honesty. So that's a really important thing. So
I have stupid friends that keep me honest. That's
personal response. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Go ahead, Zane.
Oh, I was just gonna say something else that popped into my head about like why I think this is such an important topic. Being here, I think being here and discussing this topic is important because anybody who's out there watching this or who will see it in the future, it also lets them know that they're not alone, in the sense that even when they're feeling alone, we all feel alone. So that feeling of being alone connects us all, because I think especially in communities like the one we've kind of found ourselves in here, a lot of people in this community have dealt with their mental health, with different struggles throughout their lives. And I think letting them know that we have as well, and that we're all here to talk about it and listen, lets them know that they're not alone, because we all go through it. We all feel alone sometimes, and that connects us.
Yeah, because I think that people see us in little snippets. You know, Gerald's with Betsy, and Zane, you've been with us, and all of that. And of course, myself and Gerald. And you can get caught up in the fact that people think that you're perfect or have no issues, or you're always funny, or you're always this or that. And that's just not factual. It's not possible to maintain that. At least not for me, you know.
Right. No. And I am seeing the chat. You are all being very respectful. This is wonderful, and sharing your own experiences. Thank you for that. I am going to be looking at those a little bit later, because I've given myself permission to focus on the conversation and the 5 topics that we have identified. So, so one of the things, I have like 2 pages of hardcore notes about this topic when it first came up. And I think it's one of those things that, let's start off with a first thing, is because we're calling this mental health magic, I'd like to give people an opportunity to define magic for them. So, Jamie, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I don't have a definitive set definition, because it's always changing and encompassing less and more in my life, just depending. So I don't have a hardcore definition. I find magic in everything. If I slow myself down, even in, and I'm not being maudlin, okay? This is just true. I deal with a lot of death on the daily, right? So there's even magic to be found there. And I know that sounds strange, but if I slow down enough, I can find the magic, right? So it's more of an intangible for me. When you feel that bubble up, when you're doing readings or castings or having conversations like this, that the ether really coalesces into this beautiful feeling of rightness. And that is magic for me. When you feel that, because you'll see my cheeks get pink sometimes, and there's like a knocking at the back of my head, and that is that beautiful bubble up of rightness, right? So we're sitting here, we're having this conversation. I know this question's coming up, and I look down inside of a deck, and in the deck, there's this little blurb. It says, say yes to believing that anything is possible, even tarot readings and magic.
Nice.
I mean, it's the stuff that comes up that you kind of go, oh, well, shit. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Zane, would you be willing to go next? What's magic for
Absolutely.
you?
Yeah, so I was also going to make a point, like Jamie, to say that there's so many forms of magic for me, and the way I see magic and the way I experience magic and practice it. So again, there's magic to be found everywhere. But for the purposes of what we're talking about today, I came up with magic for me being intention made real, and it's any act that you commit where you are imparting your will onto the natural flow of the universe.
Oh, look at you, all high English and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
Dang.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Zane brings it. Zane might be an overachiever. That's fine.
I'll just be the plebe over here. God.
I was only able to get something out like that because I thought about my answer in advance and wrote it down so that I'd be able to focus and stay on track.
Zane, I'm teasing you, but could you read that again? That was really powerful.
Sure. Magic is any act that you commit with the intent of imparting your will upon the natural flow of the universe. And then I also wrote down magic is intention made real.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Betsy?
I have, for me, magic is the awareness that there are unseen forces in the world that coexist with us and are equally as alive. Magic is working in partnership with these energies to co-create the life we desire.
Say that again. That was good.
There are unseen forces in the world that coexist with us. Magic is working in partnership with these energies to co-create the life we desire.
That's really wonderful.
That's
really wonderful. I mean, so powerful. And this is why we're having the conversation. I define magic as the unexplainable things that happen and that I influence to be able to create the outcomes that I desire. Now, don't ask me to repeat that. But that also means that I am doing magic. Magic is best for me when I'm doing it consciously. But I'm also, when I'm putting my energy in things, I am creating magic, and I need to be very focused on the energies and the output that I am wanting. The success of that. So it is one of those things. I've been thinking about this, and I do lots of little things that could be called magic. And it's just natural to me, and that's okay. Now, this is important to remember because part of what we're talking about is, when we're looking at our mental health, there's this idea of a toolkit. A toolkit is all of the tools that you have available to you, the things that help you, and that you're good at. And what's also interesting is sometimes when we're not balanced, we forget that we have these tools. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about. So, anyhow, what?
Nothing. But anyhow.
I don't know about you all, but there is a lot of powerful energy, which tells me this is an important thing, and that people are going to be finding this when they need to. So,
I think Zane was right when he said that, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. So
I've missed you too, Jen. I just saw your comment.
Yeah. So here, everybody take a sip. This section of the video is brought to you by the word magic. Everyone say it with me. Magic. Magic. An extraordinary power or influence seemingly from a supernatural source. Magic is the fabric of the unbelievable woven with the thread of wonder. Magic. It's like magic. It's like, yeah.
I like Zane.
Yeah. Oh, Zane, would this be one of those times? Or no, it'd be this. Magic.
Magic.
So, and so, people are being really helpful in the chat. Amanda is reminding us that, yes, the toolkits. And Nalani said, amazing how the tools can be applied to so many things.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very true. And B has said, I love this space you are creating here. The intent is helping me immensely.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. And when we're going through something, it's really hard to remember the things you can do to help yourself to seek help or to seek help. And Jilly, Little Zen Crone, had that, her mental health go bag. It's when she was starting to notice things, there's a bag and it's got a book, it's got chocolate, it's got other things that are exactly what are needed. So, so there we go.
Yeah, when I talk about my mental health toolkit, I think of it in the sense of like an internal thing, like a checklist that I can go over too. But in those times where it is difficult to remember, that I actually have I think of my mental health toolkit as a physical thing where I have like Jilly's bag that you were talking about, all of the things that I've come up with ahead of time, like I mentioned before. So it's easier for me to remember because I have it sitting somewhere where like if I'm in that dark place, I see that bag and I'm like, I can open this up and find something that's going to help me in this moment.
Yeah.
So it can help to have a physical toolkit for yourself that you can actually just bust into whenever you need a little lifting up.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Madame Maru said magic is manifesting your will, especially by supernatural means. Marjorie said, for me, magic happens. I put thought and intention towards something I want to achieve, and the way there appears. It also shows up when I didn't know I needed it. If you're open to it. If you're open to it. Yeah. So, and so, okay. Anybody else have anything before I start prompt 3?
Well, I have a nice little synchronicity. I've been going through a slump in my 3D job in sales, and it's been quite a long slump. And I had a conversation with a friend who gave me some bullet points about how she manifested a thriving massage business and built her clientele. And she had 5 points about who she worked with, the people that benefited from her work, people that could afford her work, people that were eager to refer her to like-minded people, and people who are responsible for their own health. And so I created something that worked in the store. And the day I posted it in my site on the desk, I had my favorite return customers come in. They flew in from the Big Island. They checked in. And while they were waiting for their room, they came straight to the store to catch up with me. And they ended up buying something that day too. So setting the intention and holding space because you know it's possible, even if you may not see the path of how it's possible, setting the intention, stepping out of the way, and letting the universe do its work.
Yes. And Jane the Seeker said, oh, wow, I'm going to make 3 of those, Zane. And Beth said, definitely, Zane, when we are in a dark place, it's hard to see where to go. And if it's a physical thing, you literally see it.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
Yep.
very true. Very, very true.
And I think it's a good idea to make multiple versions. If you're going to have a physical one, it is a good idea to maybe make a couple of them. You can keep one in your car. So if you're on the go somewhere and you're just a situation comes up out of nowhere, you have something available to you at all times.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Okay. Um, so as I was trying to figure out what way am I going to put this together, I was like going, so what I've decided is let's talk about the before. When what magic do you do to maintain and support your mental health and your well-being when you are feeling imbalanced? So that idea, this could be maintenance. It could be like taking your daily vitamins or something like that. But before, Jamie, what do you have?
I do routine things and then nature things. So the before is always you can tell when I've hit a wall because my routine things are not lining up. In other words, I do journal, I do pull cards, I do, light candles and I do the things, right? So that's the before. But yeah, it's I when I'm feeling imbalanced, I'm doing the routine things.
Mm-hmm. Um,
That's it. It's simple. I told you, he's the high English dude. I'm just the simple plebe over
okay. No, because all of these things are valuable. Because I think what's going to happen is somebody's going to hear something from one of us and go, that's the need. That's the thing I needed. That's the thing I needed. So, Zane, what do you have?
All right. So mine are pretty simple and like down to earth too, I'd say.
I love you, Zane.
Um, because I love you too. A good way to word it, like Jamie said, is just the routine things. I wrote down like I create tarot cards when I'm like feeling in a good headspace. That's like the best time. That's when I like to create tarot cards because my mind is clear, my mind is focused. I'm able to set my intention properly. So I have to be already in a clear mind space to be able to do that. And that's something that just helps me connect to the divine because tarot is such a big part of my spiritual practice. It
Mm-hmm.
comes in all different aspects. So
Mm-hmm.
I create tarot cards. It helps me feel connected to things. And my creativity helps me feel connected to myself. Um, I read tarot cards a lot of times with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else did I come up with? I gather with my friends because even that has magic in it. Just
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to your friends, being like, "Hey, I'm in a good mental space. I want to like share this with my friends. I want to be around other people who are like gonna help me stay in that mindset." And just gathering with your friends, if you put intention into it,
Yeah.
can be magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down that I craft sigils because again, sometimes there are times when I'm like in a crisis and I need to craft a sigil for that moment. But a lot of times I like to do it like I was saying with my like my card creation. I like to be in a clear, balanced state of mind to create my sigils, unless, like I said, they're for a specific intention that I need them for in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
you create pretty things.
Yeah,
I
and
do.
I like that because the sigils, Zane, are the sigils that you create, do they vary in complexity? You know.
They definitely do. There's also three different methods that I use depending on what's like speaking to me in the moment when I'm creating that specific sigil. So depending on the method I use, just that can affect how intricate or how um, simple a design comes out for a sigil.
Mm-hmm.
And sigils are something I wrote down, spoiler alert, for all three of these categories because it's just something that I connect to spiritually. It's a big part of my practice as well as tarot.
Yes.
Sigil magic is a big thing for me. And as far as the before aspect of it, like I was saying, it's just Also great. There's things I keep in my toolkit. I have sigils that I've already created that I keep in my toolkit. So if I need something to pull out and focus on, I can pull out a grounded sigil and it can help ground and center me, stuff like that. So there's also ones for, like you mentioned before, maintaining that'll be for the before category where something where I'm already in this great state of mind, and they can be for I remain focused on my goals to like reinforce things that I'm already putting into practice.
True. Thank you. Betsy, what about you? Thinking about before, when you're in balance, what are things that you do?
I try to regularly offer my prayers of gratitude to my spirit team for always being with me. And I do a lot of grounding, centering, and clearing, just to try and keep my energy fluffy.
You're so fluffy.
And I try to keep my awareness of the path that I'm hoping to walk. And so with that, I do like to set intentions on new moons. I do that. And I do try to keep detachment, my desire to be objective and detach from being triggered in the world. So I try and keep detachment more in the front of my mind than the back when I'm doing well, when I'm feeling strong. Not so I don't do that very well when I'm not feeling so mentally strong. So when I am feeling strong, I like to try and remind myself that most of the things of the world really don't have anything to do with me, and I can choose how I want to respond.
Yeah, that's great. And Betsy, you and I have done a lot of videos about grounding and cleansing. And I'm going to say one of the things that I do is every time I take a shower, I do the Donna Eden zip up, the energy and aligning the chakras. And I've added a bit for me is to where I actually do I unzip, shower, and then when I'm done, I zip up because then I've cleansed
it all off. Yeah.
So for me, this is one of those things. It's like it's easier to clean a house, I've heard, if you dust regularly.
Yeah.
So, and so that's a really good thing for me. I also pay attention to the moon phases, and just as a way of capturing my attention and reminding me that life moves on and I can choose to pay attention to it, or I can choose not to pay attention to it. So, and then the idea of gratitude journals, glimmer globes, are things that are really wonderful, especially helpful when it's like, oh, that was a really good day, and I want to capture something that was good about it. Simply the act of writing it down and putting it into a jar helps to enjoy that energy and to manifest that energy. So, and I do think a big thing about this is honoring our own cycles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So for me, after, let's just say, this is after this live, I can guarantee I'm going to take a nap because I need to do, for me, that's how I do a good job of grounding. So more people are coming into chat, and I do want to point out, I did see a couple of things. Let's see. And by the way, Jane just let her daughter-in-law know that she went to AA for 3 years. I'm hoping she sees how it's not a stigma. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. And okay. So maintenance. Make sure I walk outside with my dog no matter what. Make myself do yoga. I always feel calmer after yoga. Jane, the Seeker Tarot, takes her morning walks. I don't walk I didn't walk at my mom's, but I'm walking with my neighbor again. It really helps. JL shared, my cats and my crystals help me. Even just to have a crystal worry stone in my pocket can help. Yes. Jen said, my most common mental health issue is my anxiety in a specific situation. So my maintenance is asking for protection and envisioning that protection with a specifically worded intention. Beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes. And Beth brought up creativity is the opposite of depression, I would think. But when the dopamine is low, how does one create? Like it's like a bit of a vicious cycle. Yes. But you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. Go for it.
Well, because I saw this comment earlier, Beth, and I was hoping that Gerald was going to read it because I do a drawing every single night. I've been doing a drawing every single night for probably 45 days now. And some of them are black and white and some of them are color. And don't think that I'm this great, fabulous artist because I am not. But it's just putting the feelings of the day down in something very abstract. And that shifts me from where the dreck and ick of getting too low is, and puts me back, or helps put me back into a creative space. Yeah, that's what I do.
I also think creativity is a cycle. If you keep showing up and you keep doing something, it can really can be really impactful. Bora Bora said I use the zip up technique as well in the morning. The bubble technique does not work for me.
I have that Eden stuff. I have it on cassette. That's how long.
Smudging can help clear out some of the negative stuff too. Yes, and routine is a really good thing. It's very beneficial. Every time I sit down to do a show, I'm burning incense. I'm usually wearing my necklace, something like that. So there you go. And one of the things that I did want to share with people is I do every time before I do any of my personal magic, I light a candle for myself. And this is a self-esteem spell. And I'm going to put it up here so that you can see it. So, and you feel free to write it down because it's when you are lighting a candle, you say, I light this candle in praise and recognition of myself. As the heat of the flames rise like prayers to the heavens, may it honor all that I have done, all that I am doing, and all that I will do.
It's one of my favorites.
I definitely. Can you put that in the comments after the show, please, so I can write it down and be able to read it again later?
Yes.
I think that's key.
So, and part of that is there's lots of ways to, magic for me includes building energy, and repetition or ritual is a way to build energy. So every time I light a candle, this is something that I do. So, and before I do any type of magic work, I light my own candle and then I do the working because it's like stretching before running. So, and so thank you. Okay, so I'll put that into the comments. We'll put that up there. I'm going to do this, and here I'll do that right now. So I'll put it back up there. There. I think will that all fit? Yes.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. So, all right. So a lot more people are, sharing in the chat. I'm not sorry that I'm not able to get all of those up there. So I think it's one of those things that as I watch the playback, I'll be able to see it. I also think I do want to remind people in the description, there are links to websites and organization around the world that can offer you help. I think it's one of those things that if people ask for help, they are the bravest people and they're the strongest people, because when you know you need help, that's a lot of power. Beth said repetition also creates a sense of security, and that's a good springboard for exploring issues. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, okay. So during, this is one of those things is that during, thinking about what magic do you do to bring balance during a time when you're feeling unstable and in need of support. So thinking about that. So
this is the biggest section in my notes.
Yeah.
You like to go first, Zane?
Sure.
Hotspot. Go.
So again, throw this out there right off the bat. Like I said, what this is going to be for every stage. I craft sigils because when I'm going through it, sometimes in that moment, I'm just like, the process of creating a sigil can help me clear my mind and help me calm myself down, but it can also help me to set the intention of that sigil and then use it in spell work to help relieve whatever the symptoms are that I'm experiencing in that moment. So yeah, also, so creating sigils and activating sigils I have written down for this. I shuffle cards, whether it be tarot cards, oracle cards, even playing cards. It's just become something that's so ingrained in me now. It's like my happy place, sitting down, shuffling my cards. So if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed or anxious, sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. I'll be sitting at my desk and I'll just find myself shuffling cards that were beside me. I gather with my friends, again, another one that fits into every category. I'll gather with my friends. I'll read tarot cards with my friends. We'll do Gerald, Jamie, and I get together semi regularly and we'll pull cards sometimes. We'll come up with a random spread or we'll find one of us will find one and provide it. And it just helps us connect and clear our heads and focus on something together. I have tea here. This is something I do a lot too when I'm feeling down or like I need a little pick me up when my mental health isn't the best. I will make myself tea and I will set an intention and stir honey into my tea as I'm setting that intention.
Oh yeah.
For me personally, honey represents several things: positivity, abundance, joy, love, and connection and teamwork. So I like to stir the honey into my tea with intention to bring all of those things into myself, especially the teamwork and the collaboration, because it helps me, again, feel not alone and like I am doing something to bring others into my circle and help comfort myself. I'll take a walk outside at night, a lot of times with my dog Sebastian, who's asleep beside me, and I'll just clear my mind and kind of breathe in the night air and kind of soak in the light of the moon because moon energy always helps me calm myself. I do a lot of cleansing with Palo Santo and sage, whether it be me or the objects I'm using around me for my magic. I use sage when I want to completely just start from scratch, clear out all of my energy, and I use Palo Santo when I just want to clear specific negative energy that I'm experiencing, but I want to leave the positive things that are going on, and so it's not a complete energy cleanse. Another thing that I didn't mention for the before, but it falls into like all three categories again. Someone mentioned crystals. I have specific crystals that are my favorites that I carry with me everywhere I go. Ooh, how do I get rid of that? Okay. I always carry a piece of black tourmaline, a piece of rose quartz, amethyst, and lapis lazuli. They're my go-tos. I always keep them with me. They're my safe space. They help me feel grounded. If I'm feeling overstimulated at any point, I can just reach in my pocket and pull them out and just kind of rub them in my palm, and it instantly helps soothe me. And then I kind of think that's everything that I had written down, and then I had like specific. I'll hold this up now because I made a little printout of specific things that I do to help self-soothe or ground when I'm in need. These are things that are in my toolkit. So
Mhm.
I'm going to try to find a way to share those so that everybody has access, whether it be in a Facebook group that
Okay.
um, I, yeah, I'm gonna try to find somewhere, and I'll let people know in the comments below this where it's available if they're interested. Cool.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
all I got.
Betsy, what about you?
Sure. During, um, I find comfort in doing guided journeys, soul journeys, or meditations on YouTube. You know, whatever I'm feeling, just type those keywords in: meditation, anxiety, and there you go. Journaling, that's a big one for me. I do a lot of journaling and automatic writing. I ask questions and hopefully wait for responses. I do go to therapy, been going since lockdown.
Mhm.
Um, I have a lot of oils I use. I love to use oils for different things, and I like to anoint my soles of my feet, my wrists, my heart, nape of my neck. I do that to shift where I am. I choose something that sometimes I feel like I need a protective oil like frankincense. Sometimes I'm going in a direction and I want the oil to help me go there. Um, I constantly try to remind myself that where I am is temporary. Like all things on earth, it is temporary. And I begin to question, what will I feel like when I'm on the other side of this? How will I feel? Um, why is this important for me to be in this space? And instead of judge it and try and move out of it as fast as I can, I'd like to question, why is it important for me to be here right now? And I can't say that I find answers to that all the time, but that does help calm me down because I know it's a temporary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do like to wonder what will happen on the other side of the process of what I'm experiencing. That
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. And Beth said, Betsy, that's such a good point and often forgotten. Smells can really lift our spirits. Smell a lilac tree, mood can lift. Lavender, maybe evoke happy with clove and cinnamon. Yep.
Oh, I forgot a really important thing: the ocean, swimming. If I'm feeling in a twirl and I'm spinning and I don't know the way out of it, to distract myself by go swimming and trying to find as much trash as I can get my hands on.
Mhm.
I love that. You know, you're out there and you're getting multiple benefits. And
Yeah.
and Madame Maru said smoky quartz, spirit amethyst, blue lace agate were an effective combination for me when I was experiencing emotional distress.
Mhm.
And I actually think this brings up a really good point. The crystals that work for you, perfect. They may not work for everyone else. And if somebody says, "Oh, I would never put those two together," but it works for you, you do you.
That's all that matters.
Yep,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's
Yep.
it. And Jen loves that questioning, Betsy. So, and Marjorie McConnell said meditation, journaling. We go to the water. Our park is on the water and ask for guidance. Signs that I'm here for a specific reason, something I need to learn. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, so JL said grounding for the senses. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. I like that. Anna did share when I was younger, driving was a calming experience for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Amanda is loves thinking about honey as magic. Thanks for that.
Mhm.
So
Anytime. I use it, like I said, on the daily. I love it too.
yeah, and and I think here's another thing I'm going to pop in because we're talking about crystals. crystals are really great. Crystals take on the energy that you put in them. And so I would say before, what could be really wonderful is that you charge some of your crystals when you're feeling in balance, and you put that energy into those crystals. Yes, Betsy? Betsy's
No,
doing
I'm
this.
agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. That's good.
So it's because that it's a repository for this.
Not a suppository, but a repository.
Yes. So, and I think that's, a lot of times I would forget that, oh, things are good, so I'm not going to do all of the stuff when, in the before. But I think it's an important thing. So, so one of the things that I have to do for my during, Jamie, I'm going to have you go last.
Obviously.
Oh, no, I'm going to put you next now. No. Is one of the things that I have to pay attention to are what are my tells that my mental health is not doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before, when my dishes aren't done, that's a sign for me that, Gerald, you need to be doing this. And I'll be really honest with you. I have dishes that have been sitting there for a week. We are out of plates. So I'm like going, okay, what's going on? And so during, I have to give me a playlist or some music that's going to help me be able to approach and to look at things that are difficult for me. I also, one of my other tells is that I can overcomplicate things.
You?
And when I know, not me, shocking, but when I am starting to overcomplicate things, it's like, okay, what's going on? Slow down, Gerald. Take a step. And I've also recently learned, and this is funny, is that for my motivation and when I'm struggling, if I narrate what I'm doing, I'm walking into the kitchen, I'm putting my apron on, I'm clearing out the sink. That helps me because it allows me to be fully present. When things are struggling for me, and when I'm in the midst where I'm feeling off balance, writing the things down, getting them out of here and onto the paper clears the space and allows my head to be a little clearer so it can sort of connect through my heart and my throat chakra. It allows that to happen. So, and again, sometimes, during, I'm lighting multiple candles per day with the self-esteem spell because I need it. Because sometimes when I'm struggling, I don't believe what I'm saying there. And I've got that repetition is helpful. So, okay, Jamie, what do you got?
Basically, I throw everything at the wall and I see what sticks, what sings but brings clarity. So I involve my friends, mantras, definitely ocean, beach, walking with my dogs, readings, casting, art. One thing recently is journaling. I found this system called BMO, or like, you're going to be more. And it's interesting. We've talked about this before, the whole being too positive in a bummer of a situation, right? But it talks about, it's about brain dumping. You dump it all out on a piece of paper. Doesn't matter how much, how little. And then you walk through steps of walking through it. So not shoving it aside or anything, but you're walking through it and you're finding a different way to look at the situation, right? And I find that it's helpful. And then the last thing that you're doing after you're walking through it. So it can take as little or as long of a time as you want when you're going through this BMO process. And then the last thing, you're looking at the positives in the situation. And like I said, for me, even in the most desperate situations, or as Tanya and I like to call them, they're feathers. You've got feathers and bricks and swords and all of those things. And so what are your feathers in the day, right? What are your glimmers? Same kind of thing. But it's ending the session of writing on a different perspective. I won't say on a better note, but a different perspective than when you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I get judgy when I'm out of balance. I get very snarky, and there's a point when part of it is being silly, and then other part is like going, damn, Gerald, what is going on with you? Why is this where your this is the energy suck? And oh, okay. So mental health magic, one of the things that I do, I get off social media. I stop it because I do not want to feel like I am comparing myself to others, because I can only compare myself to me and where I am and where I want to be. And so, yeah. Zane, I actually have written down in my notes that you created I need to clear my head sigil.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is that one on here? I don't have that one on my cheat sheet here that I'm going to be providing, but maybe I'll add it before I make it available.
Yeah. So, and by the way, the chat has been incredible. I do want to catch up on a few things. Okay. Beth likes a pendulum. It gives me a sense of relief and control, emotions I can explore. Jonathan likes walking meditation on the beach to get out of your head. Breath work and grounding. Maru said, when I say thank you for everything, it reminds me that spirit is always present. That's why I love the cards. When they resonate, it feels like the universe sees you. And I mean, Jamie and I had a conversation with Lisa Papez about healing decks. This is a great time. If you have a deck that is healing for you, then grab it and start using it. Just shuffle it.
Yeah.
But healing decks, as we talked about that, sometimes you need a warm hug, and sometimes you need a sit down, shut up, think about what you've done, and get ready to move on with that love that only, someone who really cares about you can do. So, yeah. Okay. Anna said that. Grounding for this. Okay. We already did that one. Okay. Yeah. Insight and awareness are so important to our mental well-being. And I want to say to that, if you have insight from something that happened 5 years ago, congratulations, it's still insight. It doesn't matter. I mean, yes, we want to get sooner and sooner and sooner, but this is a should-free zone and a judgment-free zone. Beth also says, when I run water over my hands, I can think more calmly and creatively. I like that. I wonder if it's like for you, Betsy, in swimming.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Music and wonderful smells. Attitude gets judgy when I'm out of balance because she's, a Cancer. So, okay. No one can take your knowledge away. That's right. Oh, some people distract themselves with funny movies. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Tree hugs and walking for sure.
Oh.
And I do have to say for me, this is, I have to, hang on, I'm writing this down. I just remembered this. See, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I need to move. I need to get out of my physical space. I need to move. And if I'm thinking about my own magic, when my magic is feeling a little stale, I need to put some physicality with it. So, and yeah, yep, different decks. So, comedy. I love me some comedy. Okay. Anybody, Pamela Batchelor said, since I cannot walk on the beach anymore, I can do so in meditation. I listen to Flower Fresh Meditations by Thich Nhat Hanh from Plum Village.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good point. So there you go. Janet Lee G said, also, when ruminating on thoughts, I write it down and it goes in a box. Every time it comes up, eventually recognize they are not mine. No wonder they bothered me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Jilly, Little Zen Crone, would say, is this real?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that. Is this real? So, okay. Anybody else have anything to say about the during?
Well, I'm on the heels of that. Is this real for empaths? Is this mine?
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Sure. Yeah.
That's I with a lot of clients I have that are just starting to open up with their intuition and feeling overwhelmed emotionally sometimes. That's one of the first things I always recommend is for them to question, is this mine? Does this belong to me, or am I picking this up from somewhere else? Is this a specific person? Is this a collective thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is this mine? That's a good one too. I'm writing
I
that one
wrote
down.
that down.
Yeah.
And
My ADHD Gerald is kicking in. Was it the mental clarity sigil you asked me about clearing your
yes,
mind?
yes.
I didn't have it out and ready to go, but I went and grabbed it just
Which
the
one
other
is
day.
it?
This hand right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, sorry, wrong way. For mental clarity.
I love that.
So I'll include that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's that. Will it matter in 2 hours?
Always that.
You are not your thoughts. Step back and observe calmly, then release them. Easier said than done, but practice it, and it's easier. And yes, Anna, we all agree with you. Betsy is so right. So, all right. Bye, Jen. Thank you for being here.
Bye,
Bye.
Hen.
Bye.
And Janet Lee loves that, Zane.
Oh, thank you.
And again, you have some new subscribers, Zane. People might be interested in your sigils.
Oh,
No
awesome.
pressure. No pressure.
Well, I guess that's motivation, a kick in the butt to start making videos again.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. So mental health.
Wait, Zane, have you made a deck of sigils?
Not a full deck of sigils, no. I've made a couple decks. I'm working on one now that incorporates my sigils into each card, but that's a work in progress because I'm drawing all the art myself and I am by no means a trained artist. So it's taken a while and it's going to take a while, but I am working on something incorporating my sigils into the cards.
I think that's really powerful. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks for
that.
asking because I totally wouldn't even have thought to bring it up.
I think the guides wanted to bring that up for some reason.
So
Good to know. I'm making a note of that too. Work on your cards.
and something that's really important is that I do not understand, your experiences are different than mine. They are equally important. They are just different. If something that something that's big to me may appear it's huge to me, it may appear small to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important that that we hold space and seek to understand and to get curious and to support people as they are evolving and understanding who they are in the world, because it's a very confusing place. So, nudge, nudge, Zane.
Yep, I'm commenting back in the chat now. I see everybody
Okay.
shouting out the love, and I've been neglecting the chat. Sorry.
That we've been doing great. So when things are good, when you're in balance, what are you doing for your mental health magic? Then when you're feeling a little off kilter, what do you do to help yourself gain balance? And then the after, what magic do you do once you return to a balanced state? So, Jamie, I'm gonna start with you. Any thoughts?
This one was kind of just an easy. It's when I come back to balance, I'm back to before.
Okay.
I'm back to hitting my routines, and then maybe a little bit of more of a spark of creativity hits when it's like, okay, that one's over. I've rolled the dial. I'm back up here, So there isn't a lot of difference between the before and after for me, except for maybe I've discovered some type of something like this BMO journal. When I went looking for something to help myself. So yeah.
Okay. Zane, what about you? What about the magic do you do once you return to a balanced state?
So it's funny that Jamie said that, because even though I wasn't going to specifically point it out, mine are kind of the same way, where my afters very much relate to my befores. I said I'll create cards, I'll read cards, I'll create and activate sigils to help maintain a healthy and positive mindset. That's all I have written down, but yeah, pretty much anything I said for the before is something I will also tend to do for the after, because I'm back in that state of equilibrium where I'm grounded and in a better place and feeling lifted up and all of that. So
That's
yeah.
great. Betsy, what about you?
I like the points that you brought up, saying about decluttering, straightening things out. If
I
there's
love this. Yeah, I want to put this up. Pamela said, return to a balance involves decluttering, putting stuff away, and organizing. I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I noticed that I'll leave things kind of spread out a little bit, and yeah, I think that is really synchronicity. It's just yeah. Anyway, congruent, I guess. Little twirling in here looks a little twirling
I love
out.
it.
yeah.
But I concur, on the backside of it, returning to the what's normal routine for me, being physically active. Sometimes if I'm not feeling that great, I need to slow down on physical activities. So when I'm reset, I actually go back into more activity. And I do like to reflect on the journey. I like to unpack it a little bit and jot down some thoughts about it on the other end, and then I like to set intentions and for a new direction for what's next, because even though many people are just glad to be out of it and relaxing, I'm like, nope, what's next? Where are we going now? I just for some reason or other, I just keep myself moving on that. And I try to be really clear about what I want. I think that's, for me, if I know I'm here at point A and I long to be at point B, knowing exactly how I want to be in the life that I want to create, I believe helps the universe connect the dots for me. So, I mean, if you ask people what they want, usually you get a laundry list of, well, I know I don't want this and I don't want that, and da 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 da. And okay, but what do you want? Well, I don't know. Well,
Right.
Yeah. So I try and that's how I try and approach that one.
Yeah, I think these are all beautiful things, and it's like, as Pamela did say, the decluttering, putting stuff away, and organizing, and then the cycle begins again. And what's interesting is I have learned the importance of clearing the space of the clutter. Like it's like working on a project. I need to clear that space so then I can see everything that's coming and that is available to me that I can use for the next time. So Beth said, giving a shout out to my little dog Bodie. He makes me happier and filled with love. Yes. Marjorie also said, reflection on what happened and what did I learn. So yes.
Yeah, I like what you said about that, Betsy, too, because I didn't have it written down, but it made me think on the back end of things, something that is different than the before is anything that I learned about myself or any insight I gained during stage is something that I put into effect in the after that I wasn't necessarily doing before because it's something I learned during the process. So I'm glad you said that. Thanks for that because it helped me realize that about my own cycle as well.
Yep. JL mentioned cats get extra nums because they are always there for me through it. One stays right by me. And the cats are probably also the ones who would, my cats used to slap me upside the head periodically. And they're like, really? So, yeah, having animals keeps me grounded and clears my brain when I'm stuck in a mental spiral. Yep. So, for me, that idea of putting stuff away, returning things to their space. Because if I've pulled out magic stuff that I'm working on to help support me, then it's time to return it. And whilst I return it, express gratitude and appreciation. And sometimes, I don't know about all of you, but I do have arguments with some of my magic tools. Because that's the relationship that we have. And it's okay, but it's always a respectful, this time, I need to remember this and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, thank you for falling off the shelf to remind me when I was spiraling out of control about that. So,
right.
And I always think it's important for me is that when I'm back to that balanced state, it's that opportunity I genuinely need to express gratitude for those people who have supported me. It could be a text, it could be a voicemail, it could be a written letter, it could be a note to myself in my journal, it could go into my Glimmer globe, but it's that genuine thank you. You really helped me. You provided me with this. And sometimes those notes are for myself. Kudos to you for hanging out there. But it's also a great time after. I can look and say what went well and what can I do differently the next time. Notice how I said that. What went well and what could I do differently the next time? Get rid of the right and wrong. It's just what worked and what do I need to do differently the next time. So really very powerful. So Amanda shared, sometimes I ask myself, what do I need? What do I need over and over again? Amanda, I would also say to that, make sure you listen for the response. Because sometimes I'm the biggest blockade in me getting the help because it keeps showing up. I miss it. And so that's something in my mental health magic that I have to remember. Calm down, Gerald. Look around you. Where are the signals? Follow that rabbit trail. So, and
I found myself asking in the midst of a twirl. I've been in a twirl for a while. Anyway, in the midst of it, I started asking myself, remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it's kind of that same thing. Yeah.
Yes. I like that. Remember who you are. And yeah. I wonder if that's a sigil, Zane.
I think it is. I think it's going to be.
Could we have more of these tools impersonations from you, Gerald? That's funny. Oh, we could totally, I could totally impersonate tools. Joan Rivers told a story that she was just about to end it all when her little dog jumped up on her lap and stared at her. Little dog stopped her. Aw. So
Yeah.
And yes, that's a good thing. And Amanda, I am the first to admit that sometimes I'm like, I just need a sign, and then I put my headphones on so that I can't hear anything. It's
guilty.
It's part of what happens.
I got these little. I'll tell you, I got these little. They're called loops, and they have different kinds, but you put them in and it takes all of the background crap, and sometimes it shuts this down because all I hear is like what's in front of me. So that's been kind of fascinating to incorporate that into everything.
Yeah. So I'm just going to summarize and then you all can share stuff. But if you would like to do a video response, a VR to this, the prompts are in the chat or in the description. Just link this video. If you let me know that you have done one, I would like to add it to the working, mental health magic playlist. And so that's a good thing. And okay. So any last minute thoughts?
I'm grateful to have been here with everyone and to learn what works for some and to get tips about things that I'd like to try and just to broaden my awareness of what's available. I just really appreciate being included in the space with the panel and to being a part of the world here on Tarot Stash. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's nice. So sweet.
What were you going to say, Zane? If anything, you could say nothing.
No, I was just joking around and saying not everybody all at once because we all just kind of were silent at first.
Yeah.
But I also very much appreciate being here, being part of the conversation with the three of you and with everybody in the chat. It's been amazing. It's been a great welcome back to being on YouTube because it's been a minute for me. So this was a great experience, as it always is when I'm here with you and everybody in the community. So I second that mission of thank you, and I'm grateful for all of you.
Excellent. And Marjorie did say, after I return to normal, I can always feel the energy shift. So it's a different normal. I like that.
A new normal, if you will.
It's a new normal. There you go. Jamie, did you have anything to share?
I mean, the sentiments of, everyone here, I'm always grateful for the time to spend and to hear other people's thoughts and what they do and how they incorporate either something that we say or we incorporate something that they say. It's fascinating to me without being, that sounding kind of shitty. It's always fascinating to me how we can all see one thing, but we can see it in 50 million different directions. And that's kind of rad.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things. I like sharing space. I'm grateful to be trusted to host a conversation like this and to invite people around the world whenever you find this, if you want to share. Perfect. Because somebody needs to know your thoughts, and sharing that respectfully is really going to set somebody up for that support that they need. And so I think it's really powerful. I do want to remind people that this is what works for us, and what works for you works for you. Great. Embrace it. If it works for you and everybody else thinks you're a little weird, So long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, you know, do that. And I think it's important to ask for help. You know, there were some people sharing a lot of things in the chat, and very hard things that you're struggling with. Start with something small and do that thing consistently. I think that's something that can be very beneficial.
For sure.
Yeah. And you know, there's been requests for, are we going to do this again? And will there be a part 2?
You never know.
Looking at this.
Maybe. So, all right. Everyone, thank you so very much for being here. You all are amazing. And do let me know if you have, if you're doing a VR, or leave your comments below. I will track those. So we will say farewell and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hui ho.
Bye, everybody.